What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review for you, and one that I have definitely been anticipating, mainly because I really wasn't sure we were going to get another one, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. We are going to go over the latest offering from Nails, Every Bridge Burning. This comes out on the 30th of August on Nuclear Blast Records. This band formed in 2007 in California. This is their fourth full-length and first one in 8 years. Now, their last album, You Will Never Be One of Us, was a mutual favorite of ours, and we actually saw them on tour for this one, at least twice. And then I want to say, a few years after that release, pretty much every member but the main guy behind this, Todd Jones, formerly of Terror, left the band and kind of left us all waiting in the wings as to whether or not Nails would continue on. But during this period of inactivity, Todd was essentially getting a whole new lineup together. This new lineup features current and former members of bands like Warbringer, Extremity, and Apparition. And well, once again, we have Nails, which if you have never listened to Nails, this is grindcore, power violence, and hardcore all kind of rolled together, and this album is 100% just representative of everything that this band does. And if you have heard Nails before, then this will be very familiar to you. And if you haven't, get ready, because this is going to be some absolutely savage stuff.
I've been a fan of this band since Abandon All Hope, and then we saw them finally a couple times on You Will Never Be One of Us. And I'm going to be honest, I still can't hear right.
What?
There was some feedback live, and there's still feedback. And that was, we saw them, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that? Yeah. I still am not correct. I
got into this band with their debut, Unsilent Death, and I'm already a giant grindcore fan as is, and this kind of replaced somewhat of that void left behind by Nawsome for a while, and I don't think there was a Rotten Sound album that dropped that year. Maybe there was. I don't know. But I love grind, and this blend of just hardcore D-beat ferocity and some absolutely savage HM2 guitars. It's that kind of grind. Honestly, that combo of all those things makes this band just absolutely insanely heavy and just punishing. This is the musical equivalent of Assault and Battery.
It helps that, again, Kurt Ballou is at the helm of production, and that guy knows how to get a devastating tone out of any record, and I think it just works particularly well with this band. This is immediately violent, it's immediately noisy, and you're off to the races. With Imposing Will, you get a blasty D-beat, it's noisy, super heavy, and then that's it. And there's no chance to catch your breath from there on out.
No, within the first 3 tracks, Imposing Will, Punishment Map, and the title track, you really don't even have a chance to essentially reset yourself, recalibrate your brain. Okay, that one kind of hurt a little bit, and then it's already just kicking your ass with the next track. Blast Beats, the absolutely savage production on here, which again, Kurt, he's been doing the production for all of their albums since the start. And again, he just knows how to get an extra gritty HM2 tone out of bands that are kind of going for that. The drums are absolutely punishing on here. Again, Kurt Ballou's drum sound is one of my favorites. I mean, his snare generally sounds like someone slamming a door. And throughout this short but very violent listen, you get constant switch-ups between grindcore riffs, more D-beat, hardcore, savage, disgusting breakdowns that just instantly make your lip curl. But there's also some interesting surprises on here, stuff that I really wasn't expecting. The big standout for me in terms of one that was just very different was Give Me the Painkiller. This song is essentially Nails doing a speed metal / thrash metal / crust punk song, complete with harmonized riffs that don't sound like ear bleeding noise or just the most punishing chug that they can come up with. These actually have a really cool melody to it, and I have to say the energy is slightly different on that song compared to a good chunk of, honestly, most of the stuff they've written.
Well, Give Me the Painkiller is more like if Midnight and Toxic Holocaust had an HM2 pedal and just cranked it all the way up. You still get melody. Some of the riffs in that song, oddly enough, sound kind of happy-ish because it's punky, and you're what the fuck? Because normally nothing's really happy about Nails.
Oh no, go through the lyrics. Happiness is never on the menu for a Nails album. This is all about angst and just anger and I don't know, like pretty much just exploding into fits of musical violence. But this song, again, has a good melodic hook. It's, fast and punky. It's kind of like a good, like, straightforward circle pit mosher.
Yeah.
And, like, not everyone's just trying to, like, beat the shit out of each other and doing, like, pit karate or anything like that. Like, this is a very old school feeling song with, again, a more melodic hook, which, trust me, I'm not saying like, oh my God, this song's really pretty and atmospheric,
right, no.
and you can play this for your mom, and she's like, oh, this is really sweet. This is what you're listening to now? No, she's going to look at you like, dude, what the hell, man?
What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Are you okay? Do we need to take you back to the doctor?
No, I'm going to go see this band live. I'm going to buy a shirt, too. It's going to hurt. It's going to be awesome. You also get a little bit more of that punky flair on I Can't Turn It Off, which I assume he means anger, because the anger is never turned off on here. Even on Give Me the Painkiller, like, you read the lyrics, like, oh, he's not singing about happy, fun shit.
No.
But that song definitely makes use of, like, some good crust-punk atmosphere. It's a little bit sleazier sounding and grimy. Now, of course, it does curtail into like blast beat sections and just big heavy breakdowns and occasionally some thrashy riff sections, but for the most part it kind of has like a little bit more of a punky sort of sleazy vibe. And then even the last track, No More Rivers to Cross, is especially slow and kind of slimy. It's almost like sludge metal. It feels like someone unearthed a gritty fucking demo from a swamp. Like, oh wow, it's a Nihilist demo, let's just pop that thing in. Don't even clean it off. We want to get all the grit in the CD player, too.
This is a fast album. It's only 17 minutes long, 10 tracks, 17 minutes, so it doesn't move at a snail's pace, so to speak. In fact, songs like Trapped, Made Up in Your Mind, and Dehumanized, that's just a 3-stretch run of just insanity. Just bullet trained the entire time, no chance to breathe, nothing. Trapped is only 38 seconds to begin with.
And that 38 seconds is cooler than anything Trapped has ever released. It's amazing. Condensed awesomeness in that one song, which I don't think Trapped has ever hit awesomeness at any point. They've definitely hit cringe multiple points, though. But even within that 38-second run, there's like some cool movements in it. Like it comes up with like kind of a single kick blast, like very old school, kind of thrashy. And then there's this fun like syncopated rhythm towards the end in the D beat, which they do like some fun syncopated rhythms every now and then. Like most of the time it is straightforward D beats, blast beats, and then the inevitable like little like breakdown for just a second, because all these songs are very short.
And that's not to say this record isn't without its chuggy heavy moments either. Songs like Imposing Will or Lacking the Ability to Process Empathy. Lacking the Ability to Process Empathy is just straight up sinister, heavy. It is full of chugging, 2-step grooves. I'd even call the chorus like a little sing-along. There's a gang vocal chorus in there. I can actually understand the words he's saying in the chorus. That's why I call it a sing-along. And then it has a slam breakdown, which is very out of character for these guys.
Just for a second, it's big, it's heavy, it's chuggy, but it has a totally different vibe. Honestly, I can't think of like any other moments in like Nail's songs where there's been like a big slam breakdown. Like it's a very distinct, like kind of like Dying Fetus style hook. It's only there for a second, which again, that's kind of the thing with this entire album is like, hey, that's really cool. It's gone. And it's back on to something just incredibly heavy. But it is interesting that you can pick out like some certain nuances on this one that didn't necessarily pop up on previous releases. So it shows like a little bit of evolution within this very, very primal, just angrier than hell band. Like a lot of this is just explosive as hell. Like again, you don't even have a chance to catch your breath from the song before the next song that is coming to just absolutely slap you in the face. But I do like that occasionally you do get some like slower builds, like namely in No More Rivers to Cross. It's a little bit more brooding with that intro. It gives you a little bit of time for that riff to settle in. It comes in groovy and sludgy. Instead of it being like explosive anger, like someone just flipping their shit on you, it's more like a festering grudge where you know that person's been pissed off at you for a while. They're just waiting for their moment to like, I don't know, shank you in the dark.
I like the fact actually that throughout this entire album, there's enough variances between the styles of the songs where nothing runs together. Like you've got, of course, your grindy moments, but then you've got your punky moments, and then you got your straight heavy and groovy moments, and the last track, which is just a brooding beast. But like the way it's tracked, nothing really runs into each other. Even though it's real quick, like I'll be honest, I guess the first 3 songs, I didn't even have time to write notes for Punishment Map because I was still recovering from Imposing Will, and then Every Bridge Burning kicked in, and I was like, well, whatever. But after that, like, it starts to break itself up a little bit stylistically. Like, it gives you a moment to lock in on some riffs or, like, some transition moments. And you're just like, oh, okay, cool. And it just allows you to process things a little bit better.
Yeah, it's all just a very punishing album. Like, everything heavy you can imagine is condensed into this 17-minute assault. There's even like some death metal moments on here that I think stand out, and with that just giant HM2 tone, it works, especially when they slow it down. Like, you can hear the full power of that tone on like some just, good single chord hits or something like that, because when that thing rings out, it's just absolutely massive. And I gotta say that Todd's vocals are slightly different on here than they were on You Will Never Be One of Us. In fact, I would say they're almost like kind of a throwback to like the first two albums where he was screaming a little bit higher. Either way, he sounds feral as hell on here. Like, I will never doubt a single word he says or puts in print in the liner notes when it comes down to this music. Like, this is definitely an outlet for a lot of built-up rage and contempt for, I don't know, pick a thing. As far as any negatives on here, I mean, all right, it is only 17 minutes. Like, this is even shorter than the last Terror album, which Todd Jones did do the production on. I do feel like there's room for maybe a little bit more. Like, I like No More Rivers to Cross as like a good brooding closer. Yeah. But at the same time, and I was revisiting this album before we reviewed this, I really like the even slower, even more brooding, longer track on the end of You Will Never Be One of Us, They Come Crawling Back. I like that track as just like the ultimate super heavy, just kind of break from everything else in the album, to where it was just more brooding and kind of just gross and sludgy sounding. I got a little bit of that with No More Rivers to Cross, but I don't know, I didn't quite have the same impact.
Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. Maybe the first track just being a little bit too noisy off the rip, but that's what Nails does. I've seen them live. I know what they're about. So yeah, I really don't have any complaints. Overall, I'm going to give this record 4 stars. I thought it was a beast. It is, again, immediately violent. You have no chance to catch your breath, and it's just a 1-2 punch at the speed of light pretty much for the entire 17 minutes. Again, I like the fact that it does break itself up a little bit stylistically, again, between punk and groove and heaviness and blast beats and all that jazz. Like, it just does it nicely, so you have a little bit of time to kind of understand what's going on before they throw the next fist at you. If you've been a fan of Nails in the past, you're still going to be a fan of Nails. Yeah, if you like noisy, fast, heavy, grindy bands, Rotten Sound, Noisy Neighbors, Nawesome, pretty much a myriad of noisy, heavy, grindy, awesome things, probably going to want to check this out.
I am also going to go with a 4 as well. This is Nails doing what Nails does, albeit in shorter form. Granted, this whole album is about as long as, like, a multitude of Dream Theater tracks. I still find it more interesting than a lot of those. Mainly because this is just packed with wall-to-wall violence and riffs. It is supremely heavy, as in, I don't know if I'll hear a grindcore album as heavy as this year. I could be off on that. I've been wrong before on that. But it's Nails, and Nails delivers just absolutely savage grindcore, and that has not changed one bit. I do think it is a little bit shorter. Like, yeah, there's definitely EPs that we've gone over that are longer than this full length, which I think it's only a full length because there's 10 tracks. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm not really complaining because each track packs a punch. There really isn't one on here that I would just like, get out of here.
Right.
And I like that there are just the most subtle tweaks in terms of variety in their sound. Again, Give Me the Painkiller. Huge standout track, namely for being like just catchy and hooky and just a tad melodic. But again, like not melodic sing-song because that would be bullshit. That would not be Nails. We would be like, whoa, hold on. That ain't cool at all. This is melody done Nails way, which means it is still scathing, it is still brutal, and it's still going to make you want to destroy your surroundings. But that's what I look for in Nails. Just condensed brutality and violence. That is all on display here once again. I mean, I even took the time to look through the lyrics, and once again, Todd's contempt is just, it's kind of all over the place. He's just got things that he doesn't like, and he really, really wants you to know that he doesn't like them. But sometimes it's kind of vague as to what he doesn't like, but trust me, he doesn't like that thing. But overall, yeah, this album just absolutely whoops ass. If you're a big fan of Nawesome, if you're a big fan of, God, I would say like Fuming Mouth in their faster moments, If you just like HM2 death metal too, like, I mean, you're going to find some death metal riffs on here that absolutely snarl, like Black Breath, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Check this album out. Absolute beast. Once again, welcome back, Nails. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. It is also on our channel up in the banner in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you are looking for Thralls Metal stuff, you have to go to thrallsmetal.com. We have t-shirts, both old and new. The old ones are discounted, provided we have your size. And we even have hats, too. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, click the link down below.
Never-ending content coming from Thralls of Metal, whether it be album reviews, discography rankings, Nick's never-ending collection updates, discussion topics, discussion forums, states of metal, is it metal, is it not metal, heavy, not metal, things metal.
Metal. He just stroked out.
Yep. That's how much we do. That's it. Because thinking about all the metal is just too overwhelming for my brain sometimes. But yeah, we do all this for you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you to all of our family, our friends, our subscribers, everybody that keeps interacting with us on live streams at 2 in the morning. That always blows my mind that there's still 100 people awake watching us. That's crazy. We appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely awesome, and plenty more coming your way from the channel. So one more big thank you because of all of your awesomeness.
Thank you.
And we will catch you later.